Hello and welcome to the first episode of my my Reddit reactions video stuff. This is actually the first episode of anything. Um so today we're going to go on to the Entitled People Reddit, and I'm going to read some posts and react to them. Yay. I know this is not much of an intro, but I don't really have one yet. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. All right. This one is called, "Why Won't This Pregnant Lady Lift Me Up?" I'm 9 months pregnant and 2 weeks away from my due date. I take a daily walk for exercise, and on today's walk, I saw two men on the footpath across from me. One, who was elderly, had fallen, and his son, also not that young, was trying to help me. They had one of those was trying to help him up. They had one of those stroller things that's not quite a wheelchair, but it has a little seat thing. Okay? I called out if they needed help and crossed the street. I tried to help the son hoist his father up, but the father was dead weight and couldn't assist in any way. I also have no experience in lifting people, and the son didn't either, so we were not getting anywhere. The son kept suggesting new ways to try, but after a few tries, I said that being 9 months pregnant, I wasn't sure how effective I would be. The son and father got snarky and said something like, "This will be over soon if you just help us." Wow. I offered to knock on doors for help, and the son shut down the idea and just continued to give me directions. His directions kind of pissed me off because it was like, just do this, blah, blah. I said that if you don't want to ask neighbors, they could possibly call the ambulance. And then in parentheses, it says, "Free, not expensive if you have a membership in my country." Okay. The dad made a tisk sound at me and looked at his son and asked, "Why isn't she helping us?" This is wild. Eventually, a random car drove past, and I flagged it down like a madwoman. Turns out it was someone from a nearby house, so he came back with his sons and got it sorted. It was just a very awkward encounter. Can you imagine? I mean, not only is she pregnant, like, she's 9 months pregnant. Like, I mean, that's... Wow. Very pregnant. Like, that's... And you can't just, like, expect a random stranger to, like, help you. Like, it's a nice thing to do and all, but you're not entitled to help unless, like, you call for it. Like, I'm sorry that happened to you, but this definitely isn't the right Reddit, I tell you that much. Someone says here, "After they got unpleasant, I would have stepped back and called an ambulance. You went above and beyond." Exactly. 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 Sorry, I got a notification. Exactly, you did way more than most people would have. They were being ridiculous. Exactly. I... This is unhinged. I don't know if they were, like, embarrassed or... I don't know. But there's no reason to, like... I would have just been grateful that this person was trying to help at all. Wow, that's unbelievable. Yeah. I give this person credit for even trying. That's insane. Okay, moving on. Entitled neighbor. I thought this said it. So it says entitled neighbor cussed me out because I wouldn't buy her baby's formula, but I thought it said entitled neighbor cussed me out because I wouldn't buy her babies. It was like, are they just selling babies out here? Okay, so I'm gonna read this, but it's quite lengthy. But sure, I have the time. Let's go. Okay, so my fiance and I currently live in a sober living facility for couples. We've been here since March and are about to graduate next month. Congratulations. There is another couple in the program that just moved in upstairs. The female, we'll call her Kate, has been constantly asking us for things ever since she and her husband moved in 2 weeks ago. For more background, my fiance has a good paying job, but we're trying to save every penny we can to get our own apartment. Because if we don't have one by the time we graduate, we'll literally be out on the street. Oh, that's sad. So while I don't mind helping people when I can, I'm not in a place where I can really afford to help other people. I'm barely staying afloat myself. It started out small, a cup of sugar here, an egg there, then it escalated. She started asking for money for bus fare, to borrow my perfume, and even to wear my clothes. I've been where she is coming off the streets with nothing, so I've tried to be as generous as I can, but today pushed it way too far. My fiance and I were laying down for a nap. We even had a sign on the door that said we're sleeping. But sure enough, she came knocking anyway. My fiance does not handle being woken up well, especially when someone is rude enough to blatantly ignore the damn sign. So when he answered the door, he had a bit of an attitude. Instead of apologizing, she immediately burst into fake tears, saying her baby needed formula and she needed $50 to send to her mom, or her mom was going to terminate her rights. My fiance asked when she could pay it back, and she said she didn't know, but not to worry, that she would definitely pay him back as soon as she could. He told her he couldn't just give away $50, and if she expected him to loan it to her, he was going to have some sort of time frame. She got huffy and snapped, "I literally just told you I'd pay it back." And he finally was just like, "Yeah, I would if I could, but shit's tight right now, and I really can't afford it. Sorry." That's when she suddenly claimed she could pay it back tomorrow. Obviously, that was a lie, and we both knew it. So he told her we couldn't do it and shut the door. A few minutes later, we heard her cussing outside our door, saying things like, "I'll know better than to ask anyone around here for help again. I can't wait till someone asks me for something." But the real kicker was, it takes a cold piece of garbage to let a baby go hungry. Excuse me? It literally says excuse me in this. Ain't nobody letting your baby go hungry but you and your man. I'm not a piece of garbage, and I would never let a child starve. If I knew where that baby actually was, I'd go buy formula and take it to her mom myself. But I'm not handing $50 to someone I know damn well is not going to spend it on her child. And I'm damn sure not going to loan it to someone who I know is lying to my face about paying me back. I'm a recovering addict too. I know the games, I played them all. And even if what she said about her mom was true, which I doubt it was, the fact that her mom is so willing to so easily terminate her rights just let me know that this has been an ongoing thing with her. She's obviously not taking care of her child and hasn't been for a while, or her mom wouldn't be getting this fed up with her. We have never told her no before. We've given and given, but $50 in hard-earned money is a hell of a lot different than a cup of sugar, especially when we're saving every dime to avoid homelessness, which is exactly what her and her man should be doing. They are both perfectly capable of getting jobs just like the rest of us. It's not my responsibility to take care of two grown adults. The audacity of some people never ceases to amaze me. End rant. So before I read the rest of this, if they're in they said that they're in a sober living facility, so surely they would have resources if these individuals really need help, like getting employment or access to clothes, food, and resources for a baby. Certainly that would be the case, I would imagine. I mean, I don't know where they are, but I assume there would be something. So let me read the rest of this. There's an edit here. Edit, so I talked to a few of my friends who also live here in the complex. Apparently she's been talking trash about my fiance and I all night. One of my really good friends ended up telling her to shut her mouth because she heard everything that went down and knew we didn't do anything wrong. LOL, Kate said some stuff back to her, and long story short, we all got together and complained to the staff about her attitude and toxic negativity. Our peer support gave her a few pamphlets on food banks in the area. See, I knew it. And places that offer help with clothing and other necessities. Then she basically told her that if she got caught asking, she basically got told that if she got caught asking anyone for anything else, she would personally escort her off the property. Hopefully that took care of the problem. Anyway, I just wanted to thank everyone for your kind words and encouragement, especially all the congratulations I received. It really does mean the world to me. every one of you could have scrolled right past and not bothered to comment. But you took the time out of your night to tell me congrats and that you were proud of me. That right there is proof that there are still good people in the world. So that's the thing, is there's something that my therapist has told me a lot, and it's that you can't help other people unless you help yourself first. And these individuals are working hard to get into a better place so that they literally have a place. And I'm sure that, once they do that, they would be, once they're able to, they'd be more than willing to help this person, because they had, even though they were living in this facility. So unfortunately, some people will just, they don't have any boundaries. They just see, oh, this is somebody I can exploit and just, take and take and take. And what's really sad about that is that makes people not want to help other people as much. Um, and it's sad because some people would be really grateful to just get like a cup of sugar or an egg, like, and then that would be the end of it. Like, there's not everyone is like this, and this kind of is, this kind of can, I'm trying to find the right word, like, inhibit a negative reaction, and that might lead people to not do this in the future, and that's really sad. But even though I'm not saying it to this person specifically, because they did say they still believe that there are good people out there. But yeah, it's a sad reality of this kind of a thing. I did a program in college after I got my bachelor's degree on becoming an addiction counselor. I finished the program, but I didn't take the test afterwards. Not that I could never do it, but I just haven't. And anyway, I just I learned a lot in that program, and it's I don't have any firsthand experience myself with living with addiction, but from what I learned, I can't imagine the what you go through. So anyone who has had the strength to change their life, and put forward the effort to make a difference for themselves and make their lives better, like I can't imagine it. And congratulations to anyone who's done that. It's just it's incredible to me. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Oh, here we go. This will be interesting. Title: My coworker said I should cover her shift because I don't have a real family. Just the title itself is rather unhinged, but let's see what this one is about, shall we? I work in retail. I gotta stop. Just the beginning. I work in retail. You know, when it starts with that, it doesn't lead to anything good. I work in retail, and this past Christmas, and Christmas time in retail is something else. I'll tell you the story after this, but I work in retail, and this past Christmas was the first time in forever I actually got Christmas Eve off. That's amazing. I was planning a quiet dinner at home with my boyfriend. Nothing huge, just something that felt special to us. That's cute. About a week before, one of my coworkers pulled me aside and asked if I'd take her shift. I told her nicely that I already had plans. She gave me this weird little smirk and says, well, it's not like you have a real family anyway. What the hell does that even mean? It probably just means this person doesn't have kids, to be honest. That's the kind of unhinged that this sounds like, but I'm going to keep reading. I just stood there. At first, I thought maybe I misheard her, but no, she doubled down like that somehow that made it okay for her to jump her shift on me. I didn't even know what to say. It was such an unnecessarily nasty thing to say. I didn't snap. I just said no again and walked off. Later, I let my manager know what happened, not to cause drama, but because honestly, it didn't sit right with me and I wanted it on record. Since then, she's been icy towards me, and apparently a couple of other co-workers think I was petty for not helping her out. Maybe they expected me to just suck it up, but I'm so tired of always being the one expected to bend. Just because I don't have kids, there it is, or a big loud family dinner doesn't mean my time doesn't matter. My life still counts, and I'm not going to let people treat it like it doesn't. Honestly, repost. Like, that's so real. Um, I'm somebody who doesn't have a close relationship with, like, you know how there's people like they have like a close relationship with every single family member and they have these huge family get-togethers all the time. I don't have that, so I can totally relate to this person. And I am also somebody who believes in, if you have toxic family members, it's better to just cut them out. Just don't. It's not worth it. It's not worth trying to fix something that they don't want to be fixed. But that's a different conversation. But um yeah, it doesn't matter what your plans are. Nobody is entitled to get you to cover their shift because they feel their family's more important than yours. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, why not, like, instead of being nasty, why couldn't you just ask someone else? Like, personally, I don't mind working the holidays. I never mind working the holidays, I'm still kind of in retail now, but um I I don't mind working the holidays. Cuz like when like family gatherings do come up, they're like, "Oh, you want to come over for such and such holiday?" I'm like, "Sorry, I got to work." So, I I don't I don't mind doing it, and I know there's other people like me. So, I know that there's probably someone who wouldn't mind doing it. So, this was just also, if you really needed that off, you should have requested it in advance. Like, come on, we're adults here. I guarantee you this is a capable adult who totally could have put in for the time off. So, yeah, entitled. No, you're also people are not entitled to an explanation. If you have the time off, you're not, like, you don't have to explain to them like what you're doing, what your plans are, like, ridiculous. This person doesn't understand boundaries at all. I'm looking for something else. Some of these are weird. I'm entitled to a drink by law. It's the law, girls. Let's see. The title says it all with this one. It does. I work in an amusement arcade and we offer free drinks and snacks for playing customers. Some people try to abuse this by coming in asking for something, they leaving once they have it, or we've also had supposed homeless people coming in and asking for drinks and snacks because I'm homeless. When I first started, I wasn't so savvy. A guy came in and asked for a coffee, and not knowing any better, I gave him a coffee, whereafter he walked out immediately. Same guy came in this morning and went straight in the customer toilet where he spent 10 minutes before coming out and politely asking for a Coke. Sure, take a seat and I'll bring it over once you're playing, I replied, and carried on filling in the paperwork. He went and sat down and just sat rubbing his eyes. 5 minutes later, he came back to the bar and said, "My mouth is so dry. Can I have that Coke now, please?" And I said, "Sure, once you're playing." The smile disappeared from his face, and he said, "I'm entitled to a drink by law." And I said, "No, you're not. They're for playing customers only." They're for playing customers, and you haven't played yet. Start playing and you can have a drink. And he turned around and headed to the door before saying some nice choice words that I can't figure out how to censor, so I'm not going to say them. And I followed him as I needed to unlock the door, and he turned before leaving and said, "Why won't you just let me have one Coke?" And I repeated that they're for customers only again, and he said, "I am a customer." And I replied that he'd come in and used the toilet and hadn't played a machine. The refreshments were for playing customers, and he called me fat and something else. "I am entitled to a drink by law. I know I am," he said. And I said, "No problem. Go find a cop and report me," before closing the door. Went to use the toilet and found that this upstanding citizen had urinated on the floor. Honestly, Again, somebody who's worked in customer service retail for like 5+ years, not a surprise. I did hosting at this restaurant slash inn for a while for like a season. It was like a seasonal thing, and the restaurant had like an outside patio, and you could sit along like with a view of the lake, and there were only a certain amount of lakeview seats, and people would be so like unhinged about like if we didn't have any, it was like first come first serve, and they would be so unhinged if there were no seats left, and like they would like throw a tantrum, and like you need to, I called in advance, doesn't matter, it's first come first serve. So, and I didn't make the rules, so yeah, that was a fun time. That was actually my first and last time like really working with a clientele that had the money. So yeah, it's it was fun. But yeah, um, people just nothing brings out like the most entitled people like customer service. Just, and as a worker, there's really not much you can do about it. You don't make the rules, um, and these people think you do. These people think you woke up one day and you're working for like minimum wage and you just invented the way things go. And it's like, actually, sir, I didn't. I just work here. Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on. I might have to do I might have to do a video on just like unhinged retail stories, because I could go on and on for a long time on just retail. So, yeah, it's great. And I don't know, is there anything else here that's uh okay. I'll read this one and then I'll be done. Okay. Non-clinical staff in healthcare. What's your most entitled patient story? I worked in multiple patient and visitor-facing positions in a hospital. I could wait a novel. What? Maybe this means I could write. I could write a novel of doctor and some nurse. Wait, what? I could wait a novel of doctor and some nurse entitlement towards non-clinical staff, but the patient and family stories always seem the weirdest. My favorite is a gentleman who brought his wife to the ER. Small rural, bleh, small rural. Why can't I say that word? RURAL hospital. Wait, I lost my place. Oh my god, I'm losing it. Hang on. Small rural hospital. Late night. Almost no patients there, which isn't too rare at this location. Suddenly, I see his car parked straight across the automatic doors. Literally drove up to them so no one could get out. I asked him to move his vehicle. He refused because he didn't want anyone else to come in and delay his wife's treatment. I explained that he has 5 minutes to move his car or it's getting towed, and he laughs. All right. Now, through this, my coworker was in the office behind me having lunch with her husband, who has his tow truck and his company is contracted to tow our lot. He was on break, didn't want to, but he quickly overheard my situation and appeared behind me saying, "Heard you need a tow!" Oh, I love the story already. The guy tried to say he'd move it. My friend said, "Too late, it's already hooked up, but if you give me the keys, I'll move it for you so you can be with your wife." He wasn't half happy, but his wife spoke up and told him to pull his entitled head out of his butt, and she set his show to be recorded on DVR. If he says another thing besides thank you, she will delete it or not show him how to get to it. That's great. She ended up being my favorite patient, and I would see her often and always smiled at me. That did not end how I thought it was going to, and that's wonderful. I just Yeah, that's great. Yeah, like I don't know. Like entitled people are very interesting. It's like I don't know what goes through people's minds when they're like, I am the only patient that matters. Like, no, you're not. Everyone matters. Everyone everyone who's there is there for a reason. I just don't get this mentality. I've never had this mentality. I've always been like the type of person who would like I would pass up an opportunity if I felt someone else deserved it more. I just don't understand this mindset. How do you how do you get this way? How does this happen? What's the psychology of entitled bleh, and I cannot talk today. Entitled people. Is there a study on it? I would like to know. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. And if you're still here, I appreciate it. And hopefully, I'll get to do more of these. Um, I think Reddit communities are fascinating. As someone who finds, uh, like my bachelor's was in sociology, so I find the interaction between people, very fascinating. So yeah, I will try to do more of these, and hopefully, I'll be able to get my channel going. So, all right, yeah. Thank you, and I will see you next time, friends.